I see my brother. I see my brother. When I look into the face of my enemy, I see my brother. I see my brother. Forgiveness is the garment of our courage, the power to make the peace we long to know. Open up our eyes to see the wounds that bind all of humankind. May our shudder hearts greet the dawn of light with charity and love. When I look into the face of my enemy, I see my into the face of my enemy, I see my brother. I see my brother.
Oh, too dark a sermon, feel the tempter's power. Your redeemer's conflict, see, watch with him 1 hour. Turn not from his griefs away, oh, turn not from his grief. Learn of Jesus Christ to pray, oh, turn not from his grief. See him at the judgment hall, beaten, bound, arraigned. Oh, the wormwood and the gall, the pains his soul sustained. Shun not suffering and shame, oh, shun not suffering. Learn of Christ to bear a cross, oh, shun not suffering.
minutes here and just greet each other, which would just mean probably moving around the room a little bit. We'll take 2-3 minutes to do that, catch up with someone who you almost certainly probably have not seen for a couple weeks as we're all coming and going this month, see what they've been up to, and then we'll move into worship together. Buddy, how about if we wrap up those conversations? Welcome this morning. Glad to have you here. We're certainly in the middle of summer and all that entails here in West Michigan. Teresa this week is gone. She's enjoying vacation with her family out near Grand Haven. She'll be gone next Sunday too, so enjoying some good time away. I want to share a couple of announcements with you. One is that as Eamon puts it up here, fireside chats are coming back for the month of July. With the book club happening this year, we don't have as many of these as we have had the last couple of summers, but in July, the Herbolts really wanted to host a couple. And so these are evenings simply of hanging out. There really is not anything formal that happens other than a chance to connect, enjoy a beautiful summer evening. That should be in the Church Center app, details to their home. Next thing I want to let you know about is the blood drive. We have another one, our second one, coming up on August 5th, which is not far away. I'm like wrestling with the fact that July is this week, and so August will be here in a real hurry. 2 to 6:30. We'll have a sign up for that available soon, but we just wanted to get the date on your calendar. I also wanted to let you know about something coming up this Tuesday. Story time in the park is happening. And Beck, and is someone else with Beck that Teresa told me, but I'm not remembering at the moment. There are a couple of our people who are going to be there doing some art. And if you want to volunteer, just talk to me afterwards. Does anybody, if you may know about what this is a massive Tuesday evening gathering in Garfield Park that happens in the summers, where kids can go and get a free book every week and ice cream. And there, I think Barb Lubick, who leads this effort now for years, said that there were like 1,500 people at the first week. The park is like swarming with folks. And then every week she brings in somebody or somebodies, different organizations, to provide like different learning opportunities for the kids. So we're there this week to do some art, and that's Tuesday evening. 1,500 people. There won't be probably that many this week, but there will be a lot of folks, and Beck is going to need a hand, so come see me. No, I don't know anyone who lives nearby. Nope. So you'll have to fend for parking on your own. Yep. Now, you're welcome to park in our driveway if you need to, if you get there a little late and you can't find a spot on the street. A lot of you know where we live, 2020 Madison. Just make sure you're not blocking anybody in. So come maybe talk to me if you're going to do that. Eamon, is there another announcement? I think there's one more. Yes, right. So it's the last Sunday in June, of course. We don't have branch kids on the last Sundays of the month. And then in July every year, we take branch kids off. So that's just coming up, parents. We want to let you know about that. And it's a good time to remind you that in the back narthex, the fancy church word for the space behind us, there is a lot of art supplies, right? So if you have kiddos, that may be something to check out. Of course, adults are welcome to use it too. All right. I want to share a little story I saw. Anybody watching the World Cup these last few weeks? Like, I love it. I love it. And I saw this week, I saw a clip of a national anthem being played, and the camera was on the crowd. And the crowd in this camera view was almost entirely fans of Mexico's team. But there was one person like in this sea of green in a yellow jersey. He was there, I believe it was for maybe the Ugandan team. And he was alone, no one with him, just him there in the sea of Mexican fans. And his national anthem, the Ugandan national anthem, was playing, and he was videoing it with his phone and singing out loud to it. And all the Mexican fans, of course, weren't. They were just standing there watching. But then the anthem ended, and the fans of Mexico turned to this guy and said, "Yeah!" And then they all started jumping up and down and dancing, And it was this really beautiful moment of people giving him space to celebrate and then entering into the celebration with him. Not that World Cup fans are perfect people, of course, but it was a really beautiful moment. And I wanted to share that story to maybe help prime the pump here a little bit and invite us to just think for a moment about where we've seen this week good and beautiful things happening around us. So just consider that here for a moment. Maybe we can share a few of them out loud. Yeah. If you got one, shout it out. Where have you seen something good and beautiful? It doesn't have to be on the world stage. It could have been in your own life, someone who was kind to you this week, something that went well that you were maybe nervous about. Yeah, Andrea. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Where were these women largely from, or were they from all over the world? Yeah, it's fine. You don't have to know the answer. Oh, they were. Okay. In the middle of a week of tragedy and sadness for them. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I wanted to, sorry, I'm going to start passing this around because I shouldn't rehash that story. You told it beautifully of a young boy hunching over a bin of Matchbox cars and picking out 4 of them for his friends at a garage sale that we had yesterday, and doing it with such intentionality and care. That's beautiful. Now that the microphone is out, will anyone else share? I don't know, but there are lots of stories, and really they're kind of happening all around us if we're paying attention. Stories of people coming around each other, thinking of one another, picking each other up, supporting each other. And we're going to be talking about that today, and one way that we can do that together. I want to invite the band to come up. They're going to lead us in a song in just a moment. And while they're coming up, we're going to say and share a call to worship here this morning. So the words will be up here on the screen, and you may know that the words I'll be reading are in white, and the words that you're going to be reading are in gold. So here's this call to worship this morning. Why don't we stand as we get ready to say these words together? Dear community, come. There is room here.
There's room for all of us.
For those who come with full hearts and those who come with empty ones.
For those who feel they belong and those who have wondered if they ever could.
Christ did not build a small, exclusive table. He pulled up chairs for the ones the world pushed aside. Come as you are, with your grief, your doubt, your hope, your joy. There is a place for you here. Let us sing of God who makes a bigger table. Amen. Let's sing together.
Together, shoulder to shoulder. The
Thanks, guys. You can have a seat, everybody. Well, we are, walking through the Psalms this summer. You may know, you may not know. And so if you don't know, let me just quickly catch you up. We're not, of course, looking at every psalm this summer. There are 150 of them. That would be quite a feat. We instead are picking a handful of psalms, about a dozen of them, and looking at how different psalms point us in different directions or speak to different moments in our life, different seasons. So we've talked about psalms of orientation, songs, these ancient songs that told us of a world where we are loved, where God is the creator, and a world where, in a lot of ways, things are pretty or quite ordered, black and white, clear, even predictable at times. So these psalms of orientation tell us of a world where the wicked are punished and the righteous are lifted up. And we've talked about how important songs like this are. We even made a playlist on Spotify of songs that we have, contemporary songs that point us in the right direction, that remind us of kind of these core things that are true. The truth is also that there are times in life when these psalms of orientation don't ring true. When there is difficulty and chaos, when the world is not black and white. And it's not even gray, it's a whole mix of colors. And those songs sound a lot different than the songs of orientation. And last week, Teresa talked about one of those psalms of disorientation. Today, we're going to look at another one. It's Psalm 74. I'm going to read it from the New Living Translation. It will be up here on the screen. You can read along, or you can simply listen. I'm going to say probably a couple of things as we read through it, not a lot, and then we'll consider it together. O God, why have you rejected us so long? Why is your anger so intense against the sheep of your own pasture? Remember that we are the people you chose long ago, and the tribe you redeemed as your own special possession. And remember Jerusalem, your home here on earth. Walk through the awful ruins of the city. See how the enemy has destroyed your sanctuary. There your enemies shouted their victorious battle cries. There they set up their battle standards. They swung their axes like woodcutters in a forest. With axes and picks, they smashed the carved paneling. They burned your sanctuary to the ground. They defiled the place that bears your name. Then they thought, let's destroy everything. So they burned down all the places where God was worshipped. We no longer see your miraculous signs. All the prophets are gone, and no one can tell us when it will end. How long, O God, will you allow your enemies to insult you? Will you let them dishonor your name forever? Why do you hold back your strong right hand? Unleash the powerful fist and destroy them. Oof. Let's just pause here for a moment. The psalmist is speaking about, maybe you can catch bits and pieces of it. The language is a little foreign to us, but the psalmist is talking about the destruction of the temple, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But that's the thing that has caused so much pain, and why the psalmist is not holding any punches here. Have you forgotten us? That's a pretty bold thing to say to a God who is supposed to be all-knowing, Do you not care about us? Do you not remember that we're your special people? There's a real challenge happening here in this psalm. And then there's a shift. In verse 12, it's as if the psalmist moves from complaint to a sort of pleading. And he or she is going to list a whole bunch of things about who God is, not in an effort to praise God, but in an effort to kind of like knock God upside the head and say, hey, have you forgotten who you are? Let me remind you of who you are. You, O God, are my king from ages past. Bringing salvation to the earth, you split the sea by your strength and smashed the heads of the sea monsters. You crushed the heads of Leviathan, a sea monster kind of believed to exist in this ancient world. And you let the desert animals eat him. You caused the springs and streams to gush forth, and you dried up rivers that never run dry. Both day and night belong to you. You made the starlight and the sun. You set the boundaries of the earth, and you made both summer and winter. See how these enemies insult you, Lord? A foolish nation, Babylon in this instance, has dishonored your name. Don't let these wild beasts destroy your turtle doves. That's who we are. Don't forget your suffering people forever. Remember your covenant promises, for the land is full of darkness and violence. Don't let the downtrodden be humiliated again. Instead, let the poor and needy praise your name. Arise, O God, and defend your cause. Remember how these fools insult you all day long. Don't overlook what your enemies have said or their growing uproar. It's interesting. The psalmist is like trying to goad God. Hey, you're the one who's actually being insulted here. You know, you're the one whose name is being defiled. Don't you want to defend yourself here? In these psalms of disorientation, the psalmist will say just about anything to get God's attention, which I am actually quite encouraged by. Because if you've ever been in a moment or a season of grief or loss or disorientation of any type, my experience is that I too want to and sometimes do say just about any and everything in an effort to try and have it all make sense, or in an effort to try and have things change. It's very human what we are witnessing here. Last week, Teresa talked about a psalm of personal lament. Psalm 13, I should know this off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, Psalm 13. This is a psalm where all of the language is personal. My God, my enemies, my darkness. But grief and loss don't always come to us alone, do they? Sometimes these things come to us all at once. And so listen again to how Psalm 74 opens up. O God, why do you cast us off forever? Why does your anger smoke against the sheep, the flock of your pasture? This is language that is communal. It's us who's been wounded and lost something. The whole people of Israel are standing in the rubble together, and they're asking God the same question with one voice: why do you cast us off? Wow. That's how it feels to them. They feel like they've been thrown by God to the side. It's honest. It's gutsy language. They're not holding anything back. Now again, at the heart of this lament is the destruction of the temple. Here's a rendering of what the ancient temple may have looked like, the first temple. This is a hard thing for us in the 21st century to get our head around, what this building meant to the people of ancient Israel, because we don't have an exact comparison to it. It's very simplistic to say it, but maybe it's helpful to say that this building, this location, was the most important structure, location, spot in the entire nation of Israel. Easily. Religiously, for sure, but you could, I think, also argue economically and politically. It's the center of life as an ancient Hebrew person. And this place, this building, this sacred spot, had been ransacked and destroyed by the powerful army of Babylon. And the psalmist uses very descriptive language. The wooden pillars are hacked to pieces. Its icons are smashed with hammers. Every brick is torn down. And the whole thing's set on fire. This is what you did if you were a conquering army. You found the places of importance and you tore them to the ground. Not only to defeat, but also to shame and to dishearten. And so this very sacred, precious place for the people of Israel has been destroyed. This is the place where the people believed God dwelt. You hear it in the psalm, right? You have made your home here, the psalmist writes. This was a spot where somehow the veil, the separation between heaven and earth was very thin. Might be one way to think about it. God was here in a unique way. Not that God wasn't elsewhere, but there was something special about this place. God had chosen it. And so the people, the vision that Israel had, is that the whole world would come here to Jerusalem, to the temple. And out of the temple, the whole world would be blessed. Again, what comparison do we have? I don't know that we have one. If this building were destroyed, we would be sad, for sure. But this building, any church building, does not carry the same layered significance that the temple did. It was the center again, and it had been destroyed. Israel knew what it was to lose something of immense importance and value. But so do we. We know what it is to watch the footage and feel something in us come undone. We know what it is to learn that a company knew about the contamination, the danger, the harm, and they chose profit anyway. We know that story. We know what it is to say the names of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Michael Brown and Patrick LaLoya. We know what it is to watch Gaza reduced to rubble and feel that ancient question rise up in us. How long? We don't have a temple to lose, but we know what it is to lose something together. We know about collective communal grief. And here in this psalm, along with many others, the people in their grief hold nothing back. This prayer is not polite. The language isn't soft or even really all that holy sounding. It is from the gut. And it challenges God directly. Verse after verse, it describes the wreckage, and it keeps insisting that God would look at it and do something about it. We've been referring to an Old Testament theologian often in these conversations. His name is Walter Brueggemann. He calls these types of psalms, these psalms of communal lament, an act of bold faith. Bold because it insists that the world be experienced as it actually is. Not as we wish it was, And these psalms insist that even this, the rubble, the rage, the questions we're not supposed to ask out loud, all of that is proper material for speech with God. These psalms insist that the world be experienced as it actually is, and they tell us that this sort of language is actually proper material for speech with God, to use Brueggemann's words. It's quite stunning to consider that these psalms are in the Bible at all. For millennia, they were allowed to remain. Challenging God directly, calling God out, telling God that God has failed. Yikes. You've let your enemies win. Are you forgetful? Do you not care? Are you not capable of doing anything? It's quite possible that we've grown up with an image, I know I did, of a God that allowed no room for this kind of talk. God was all powerful and maybe even a little, therefore, scary. And so you had to say everything, including your prayers, just right. I remember being a young teen, around maybe 10, 12, something in that range, and my community, faith community that I grew up in, really saw it as kind of a rite of passage when you would, as a young person, pray out loud in a group setting. This was like a big moment. And I remember feeling so nervous, not just because of what everyone might think, but believing and thinking that, oh my gosh, if I don't get this right, if I don't sound the right way, if I don't use the right words, I'm in trouble. I'll be told by the community that I've done it wrong, and who knows what God will do, It could be anything. But these psalms of disorientation upend such thinking. They show us that we can, and perhaps maybe even we should, say whatever it is we need to say. That is not a failure of faith. It's an act of bold faith. Now, let's just think about this one more thing. Israel did not write Psalm 74 one day and then move on and never touch it again. They kept this song, as we've talked about. They sang it for generations, for centuries. And more than the song, Israel had a day every year, Tisha B'Av, where they would remember the destruction of the temple. It actually will be commemorated. It will be remembered again July 25 and 26 of this year. It's every year. Every year now for millennia, there's a day of remembering, of lamenting. And Christians have picked up this Psalm 74 and others, and we too have sung its words, maybe not every year on a certain day, but it has been important to us. We've chosen to keep coming back to it. And I think these words not only help us remember that it's okay to say what we need to say, but they also tell us that God can hold whatever we have to say. That's why here, one of our prayer practices is protest. We don't do it every Sunday, but praise, protest, petition, that framework that we use often. We do it on purpose because I think we've come to believe that we need to regularly practice together this thing called lament. We need to courageously face together the way that the world is. And we together need to help bear the weight of being honest about the way that the world is. These Psalms teach us that we can and should say whatever we need to say to God, and God can hold it all. And our hope is that we can together hold it too, at least some of it. What you're carrying can be shared by some of us. What I'm holding can be picked up by some of you. That's the gift of communal lament. We do it together. We share the load. And so when we gather here and name our protest before God, when we bring the headlines, the names, the grief that's too big for any one person to carry, we're not being morbid or we're not wallowing. I think we're doing the most realistic thing a community of faith can do, and that's tell the truth about the way the world is, and then together trust and offer that we can shoulder the weight, not on our own, but with each other. So I want to give us an opportunity to do that this morning in a couple of ways. We're going to have communion here together. I kind of love, this tray and all these perfectly poured, nice job, Mel and Steve, perfectly poured little cups. It's like a visual for me of all these individuals together, and not to push it too far, but each carrying their own little bit, present in the cup. We're going to share this meal here in a moment. While we're coming and going to this table, though, you'll also have the chance, if you would like, to light a candle on a table in the back there. Simply as a way of offering a prayer. Christians have done this for a long, long time. Nothing special about the candles. They don't boost your prayer level 10 or anything like that, But it's a way of making tangible what we are holding in our heart. And so if there's a thing that's heavy on your heart today, you could walk back to that table and light a candle, and as you do, offer that thing to God. Maybe your heart is light. You can still go back to that table and light a candle and offer that thing that is bringing you joy this morning. And so the next few minutes are just going to kind of be people coming and going. I'm not suggesting that we all kind of do this and then we'll do that. No, it's like do one or both in whatever order you'd like. We're just going to have one station up front here today for communion. And because we're doing it this way, let me also not forget to say that once you have bread and cup, you can take it back to your seat and eat it and drink it when you are ready to do that. Typically, we eat and drink these gifts together. Today, just because we're all kind of moving at different times, you can eat and drink it on your own and have a moment there of quiet and stillness at your seat. It's really remarkable, the picture of God that's given to us in these Psalms. It's a God that doesn't seem to be bothered by whatever we might have to say, but a God, in fact, who invites us to get off our chest whatever it is, and to trust that doing so is helpful and healing for us. And it also, again, is a way for us to share together the load. So, I need a few folks to help serve communion. And actually, as I'm thinking about that out loud, let me actually change that. I'm just going to have the elements here, and then invite you to come and go. And that gives, I was just thinking, if people are serving it, those 4 people can't maybe light a candle in the way that they would like to at the time they would like to. So, we'll have the bread and the cup up here, available for you whenever you'd like, if you'd like. And again, you can just take it back to your seat and enjoy it there. There is a gluten-free option here in the middle as well. Let me offer a prayer as we begin to move into this time here. Holy One, creator of all things, the one who put the stars in their place and made the morning and the nighttime, You are not so big or above us that you do not turn your ear to us, even when what we have to say is angry or confused or hurting. You bend your ear and you hold what is on our heart. May this meal remind us of that reality, of your love for us, of the length to which you will bend. And may our prayers not only be heard, but be a gift, a way of lightening and being honest and therefore being more whole. We pray all of these things with gratitude. Amen. Feel free to come forward anytime or to light a candle at any time. We'll take a few minutes to do that here.
Too long and I'm too tired to sleep. I called my mother on the phone. She wasn't home. Now I'm wandering the streets. I've been a fool. I've been cruel to myself. I've been hanging on to nothing when nothing could be worse than hanging on. And something tells me there must be something better than all this. I've fallen many times in love, and every time it's been with the wrong man. Still I'm out there living one day at a time and doing the best I can. 'Cause we've all made mistakes that seem to lead us astray, but every time they help to get us where we are today. And it's as good a place as any, and it's probably where we're best off anyway. And it's a long and rugged road, and we don't know where it's headed, but we know it's gonna get us where we're going. And when we find what we're looking for, we'll drop these bags and search no more, 'cause it's gonna feel like heaven when we're home. It's gonna feel like heaven when we're home. There's no such thing as perfect, and if there is, we'll find it when we're good and dead. Trust me, I've been looking, but tonight I think I'll go and take the bath instead. Then maybe I'll walk away, feel the earth beneath me. They say if you start looking, it doesn't matter if you find it. And who's to say that even if I did, is what I'm really looking for? And it's a long and rugged road, and we don't know where it's headed, but we know it's gonna get us where we're going. And when we find what we're looking for, we'll drop these bags and search no more, 'cause it's gonna feel like heaven when we're home. And it's a long and rugged road, and we don't know where it's headed, but we know it's gonna get us where we're going. And when we find what we're looking for, we'll drop these bags and search no more, 'cause it's gonna feel like heaven when we're home. It's gonna feel like heaven when we're home. It's gonna feel like heaven.
traveler searching for the way to go. Stranger, heavy hearted, longing for someone you know. May you find
Let me
a
invite the
light.
band to come on up. We're going to sing a song that you hear
May
playing right
you
now.
find
Find a light.
a light.
So we've sung a number of times. And it's certainly an invitation to us if we are feeling lost and weary today. It's a prayer for us that we would find a light. But it's also, I think, a bit of a call, too, that we would be people extending it, which we've really even done in these prayers that we've offered here this morning. So let's stand here as we prepare to sing here.
Lost and weary traveler, searching for the way to go. Stranger, heavy-hearted, longing for someone you know. May you find a light. May you find a light. May you find a light to guide you home. There are weary travelers searching everywhere you go. Strangers who are searching, longing deeply to be known. May you find a light. May you find a light. May you find a light to guide you home. May you find a light. May you find a light. May you find a light to guide you home.
Again, a good prayer for us as we prepare to go into what will, of course, be a busy week with lots of demands and responsibilities, that we would be people who find light for ourselves and who offer it away and give it to other people. I want to remind you that next Sunday, we're not here. So if you come here, that's okay. Just go that way and then that way, and you'll meet us at Garfield Park. But maybe you'd prefer to just meet us there in the first place. So 10 a.m., same time, and there's a parking lot off of Madison Avenue. We've done this now a number of times, and yet you may not have been able to join us for it. So just so you have a sense, this is a really unique morning, because what we're going to do is meet in the parking lot, but then walk through the park and stop at different points and use the parts of the park, the things that are there, to pray, to reflect, to read some different things. And so it's movement, it's beauty, it's something I look forward to. Now, if the weather is terrible, if it's like thunderstorming and raining, then we'll be back here and we'll adapt. But hopefully it will be lovely weather, and so we'll see you there at 10 a.m. next Sunday. Friends, may you be people who are honest this week, not just with yourself and other people. Be honest with God. Say what needs to be said. And in doing so, believe and trust that God not only hears you, but God holds whatever it is that you have to say and offer. You are loved. Be people of love this week. Amen. Good to see you all. Glad to be here with you. Enjoy the rest of the day.